So it's Sunday night. The house is finally quiet and you open your laptop because this week you're going to get serious about marketing. 45 minutes later, you've reorganized your Canva folders, watched 3 reels about hooks, opened a blank email and started it, closed it, and posted absolutely nothing. Today we are doing one planning session for about an hour. And then we're going to break that up into short time blocks. So you can batch this or you can do it a little bit every day, depending on how you like to work. And the rest of the week, you'll be able to open up your laptop already knowing exactly what you're going to be doing. Welcome to Hey Tori, the podcast where I answer your real digital marketing questions from quilters, crafters, and creative entrepreneurs just like you. I'm Tori McElwain. I'm the digital marketing coach, quilter, and founder of the Digital Marketing Magic Coaching Program, or the DMMC. Every episode, I take a real question or a real struggle and walk you through exactly how I would coach it. The most common question or concern I get asked has to do with spending less time on marketing overall. What you need to understand is that there are only 2 ways to get, to market online. One is through content, and that can cover all kinds of things. And the second is with ads. Now, most of my customers, they don't want to run ads or they don't have the funds to run ads. So we will need to be trading some time, or if you do want to run ads, you'll be trading money. Today, we're going to talk about how to plan your time and your marketing so you spend less time wondering what to post and knocking out your marketing with about 2 hours of planning and execution for a week. And it's repeatable. Before we dive in, if you've been enjoying the podcast, please leave a short review to help me reach more entrepreneurs who are struggling with their marketing, and join my email list. If you love what's happening over here, my bi-monthly newsletter builds on what's discussed here in this podcast. All right, let's get started. Today's question is not from one person, it's a composite. Because I've heard some version of this question or this issue from at least 30 different people. So here's a version I hear most. When I actually sit down to write a post or record a video, I do not know where to start. I either have too many ideas or I have no idea. So I either do nothing or I panic and I post 3 things that have nothing to do with each other. So that is a very real issue and one that many of my clients face. So here's where we're going to bridge what the last episode helped with. So if you haven't heard the last episode, go ahead and jump back and listen to it. But the first thing you're going to do is when you sit down at your computer is look at your goals. What are you reaching for? You either look at your promotion calendar that we discussed in the last episode, or you create a quick promo calendar for the next 90 days. If you already have one, again, go get it or go back and listen to the episode before this one. And then the third thing you're looking at is you're either launching or you're gathering leads based on that calendar. You never have to start from zero. You always know, are you doing launching or are you getting leads for the next launch? And that should literally take you like 2 minutes to reference those few things. Or if you haven't done it yet, take about 30 minutes to just create this from scratch. Try to stay focused. I know that's the hardest thing is when we sit down to work on marketing, we tend to get emails. We tend to get notifications. We tend to see the project sitting over there screaming at us to get done. Try to stay focused and knock this out. And that way you can concentrate on the other things you need to get done and know that this marketing part is done for at least an entire week. And like I said, you could batch this even. So you can even do this in just take a day to work on your marketing and then the whole month could be ready. But anyway, let's look at this a little more closely. So let's diagnose what's probably happening here, because if we get this part wrong, some of this won't work. First, this is not a time problem, even though I know it usually feels like one. But go back to that illustration of Sunday night. You found 45 minutes. The time existed, but what you did was you tend to spend it on Canva folders or other people's reels. What did not exist was a decision. It's a decision problem wearing a time problem's clothes, in a way. Okay, and then second, when you do post, there's no thorough line. So a finished quilt photo on Monday, which is gorgeous. And then you post something funny on Wednesday. And then here's my new pattern on Saturday. There's no warm up for it. There's nothing to let them know it's coming. And these 3 unrelated posts is not 3 times the marketing, right? It tends to be more like 3 separate first impressions. Nobody is following a thread because there isn't one. And now the third one, creating content with no plan behind it. You're still deciding what to post at the exact moment you're supposed to be posting it. Now, part of that is okay, but having an underlying plan will help things go so much smoothly. And you'll never sit down wondering, what am I doing today? You'll at least have an idea of which direction to go. So I know this because I did the same thing for years. In my first few years as a pattern designer and a teacher, I was drowning in busy work, tweaking sales pages nobody was looking at, figure out hashtags. Remember those? I mean, those are still a little bit relevant, but hashtags, I spent a lot of time on hashtags, editing YouTube videos. So the captions and the stickers, and I put noises in for my first ones. I wanted them to be exactly right. It looked productive. It felt productive. I was busy, but I wasn't effective. So there's a real difference between those 2 words. And it took me a long time to learn it. So what fixed it was not more discipline. It was separating the thinking from the doing. So that is what we're going to build in this episode. So before I give you the system, let me do the math out loud. I would suggest setting an hour aside each week or a day aside each month, depending on how you'd like to work, to do one planning session. Could take about 30 to 60 minutes. Once you get good at this, it could take even less, but 30 to 60 minutes. And then if you're like me and you like to actually post every day so that things feel more current, it gives me an excuse to get on there and actually interact with people, then I would take 15 minutes a day to actually post your content. Now, this may take you at first more like 30 minutes a day, but like I said, the better you get at this, the shorter that time can be. Okay. And then once you add that up, it takes about 75 minutes when you get really good. So it could be anywhere between an hour and 45 minutes and 2 hours a week. Keep in mind that the 1 hour batch, it only works if you actually take the hour to do it. And most of you don't. You schedule it. You do, and you have good intentions on showing up in that hour, but something typically comes up. You move it, and then it's been 3 weeks and you don't have any marketing material. You're just posting randomly when you think you have something. 15 minutes that you will genuinely focus and post and do something that aligns with all your other posts so that it feels like a cohesive campaign and moves things forward. That is going to beat an hour you keep rescheduling every single time. So consistency is worth more than efficiency, especially at first, because the efficiency comes later. So one session. So let's think about this as one session once a week, 30 to 60 minutes, the same day, every week. Put it on the calendar like you do for any other meeting. So you have a spot to do this. Set your phone to the side, turn off your notifications for that hour, and just take the time to plan this out because the rest of your week is going to go so much smoother if you don't skip it. Let's go into the steps of how to make this happen. And here's, as a coach, I would try to figure out your priority. So it could be one of 3 things. So first is a lead priority. So those are the people that are coming into your world. You want more of the right people finding you and getting on your email list. Email list is still the number one way that we convert online in general. So I would still look at how do you get more people onto your email list. The second one could be a nurture priority. Do you want the people already on your list to actually start building that know, like, and trust factor? Or number 3, is it a launch priority? Are you selling something specific on a specific date? Lead, nurture, and launch. Those are the 3. They are a decision filter. So if you cannot name which one this week belongs to, that's exactly where you are staring at a blank screen on a Sunday. So let's look at your promo calendar and figure out, is it lead time? Is it nurture time? Or is it a launch? And that nurture, like I said, lead and launch are your main ones, especially when it comes to social media. Nurture is more of your long form content, and that is pretty much a pre-launch thing is what I would be looking at, or your constant once a week long form content. Okay. So then we're going to write it as a full sentence, not grow my email list. Try this week. I want 25 more people on my list before my next pattern goes live in October. Now, every choice you make for the rest of the week has something to answer to build on, right? Okay, so that's step one. What are we doing? Lead or launch? And then step two is to pick one theme. We're going to pick one long form content to work off of. So one anchor for the week that serves that priority. So if you're launching, if it's a new pattern, then everything has to do with about that pattern. And it makes it super easy to figure out what to post. And then a blog post about that pattern. It could be a blog post about how to make the blocks for that pattern or just one of the blocks inside that pattern. It can be color choice for this pattern. There are many different ways that you can create long form content to get somebody ready, a person ready to purchase this pattern and to up the search engine optimization on it and to build that like, know, and trust. Okay. And then that is going to be the thorough line that you're missing. That can be the not the 5 topics, but the one topic that you take throughout the rest of your marketing. So if you're building out a pattern launch, again, we're working backwards from that pattern and then we're working on long form content. Then the long form content, that blog post, that YouTube video, that's the long form. That goes out to your newsletter and that goes out to your social media. And it pulls them all back to one spot and gets them. And then you have a call to action. I was going to say CTA, but a call to action to get them on your list. And then you send the launch emails to your list. That's how the whole thing goes. And it pretty much writes itself once you know what's on that calendar. Okay. So that's number 2. So we got pick one thing to write about for long form content and then break it up. So let me take one step back. If you already have blog posts created that can work with this pattern lace or this workshop coming up or this sale you want to do, then go ahead and reuse your old content. Take a moment to refresh it and then reuse it. Okay. And then, like I said, the next step 3 is to break it up. So you're using this blog post, this video, this podcast, even in your newsletter, you're sending it out to them and you're posting about it on social media. But your best traffic for blogs in particular is going to come from your email newsletter. So make sure you're including it in there. YouTube also has its own way of pushing out your videos, right? So it does a lot of the hard work for you on that one, but I would still share it on your other social media platforms. Step 4 is to park it, for lack of a better word there, park it where you can find it tomorrow. So what I usually do is keep my tab open that has the blog post on it. So that way when I sit down, the blog post is right in front of me. Or if it's a podcast episode, the podcast is up right in front of me. Or if it's a YouTube video, keep YouTube open on the video so you see it right when you sit down to start working. You know what's coming next. Or if you're somebody who writes out your plan, have the plan right in front of you. So when you sit down, it's right there. You don't have to go finding it. Okay. So those are the 4 steps. So 1, name your priority. Is it lead, nurture, or launch? 2nd, pick a long form content. 3rd, break it up. And 4, leave it where you can find it again tomorrow if you're working for that 15 minutes a day. Otherwise, schedule everything out that you need for the week. Or if you're taking a full day to do this, schedule everything you're going to need for the month. What I would suggest for monthly content, because I do monthly content sometimes when I know it's going to be a really busy month. So I don't do monthly content every single month. So what I would do for a monthly content session is I would plan it out every 3 days for social media posts. I would plan and schedule the blog posts so they go out. So it makes it really easy to jump back in. But what that also does is it leaves wiggle room. So if you do find that you have some interesting things to include with social media in particular, because that one works on a daily basis, then I can just plug in the fun things, right? And the way that I know that Instagram used to be more chronologically focused. Right now it's doing that. What are they calling it? The TikTokification of Instagram, which is a funny word, but TikTok has this great way of reaching the people who want to see your content, even if you kind of go back and forth on your content. And that's what Instagram is doing. So it's no longer so in order of when you post it, which means you can post more often and they will try to find your target audience with what you're posting. So if you have patterns that you have a rotating schedule, sending out social media posts on these patterns that have been in your library for 5 years, and you just have every week, you're just reminding people that this beautiful pattern exists. It's okay to keep posting your launch your launch posts between or at the same time even as those pattern posts. It's going to be okay. Now, once you have it planned out, you've got your long form content chosen, you've either written it or recorded it or refreshed it. Then it's part 2. All right. Part 2 is the next thing we're going to do is actually create the posts. So writing posts is a completely different episode than what I can cover here. But what I want you to do is look at your long form content, create that post, either schedule it or post it, whatever stage you're at right now. It should be fairly easy to pull themes from your long form content, or a story from your long form content that you can create really fast, or even an image. If it's drafted, go ahead and post. So with some things you can save as a draft and then you post later. Some things you can schedule out and you don't have to worry about it. So post something and then spend a few minutes being a human. Go reply to comments, answer any messages you might have. Or I like to do a 3-3-3 rule where I like 3 posts, I comment on 3 posts, then I do 3 of something else. Well, I'll share something, or I'll go in the stories and I'll talk to people in stories, or I will even post to my own stories. So about things that are happening that day, and try to keep things upbeat. What I typically do with the 3-3-3 rule, again, I don't do this every single week, all the time, every single day. I do this mainly during launches and some of the pre-launch time period. And when I'm not launching, I'm just gathering leads and kind of having fun and doing whatever I kind of want to do on social media. That is where I take a breather and I give myself that grace to rest off of social media. But during launch times, this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to post 3 stories a day. I am taking that 3-3-3 rule, and then I am posting something, maybe not every day, but at least every other day. Okay. So we're spending that 15 minutes focused and getting the work done of posting and being a human. Now, when I say posting, I also mean getting a snippet into your newsletter if you don't have a VA that does that for you. If you do have a VA, that's a great thing for her to do, or them to do. You could have them grab your long form content and insert it as either a summary or the first part of it that leads off, and then they click to go read more of the blog post. So have them actually take that and put in your newsletter if you don't have that happening already. Okay, so I have a few rules that I want to share that can help you stay a little more focused on this 15 minutes on social media. Because remember, social media is all about dragging you in and keeping you there. So if we have a few mental rules set up, if we have a little bit of discipline around this, we can really keep this really pretty short. And then you can get back to your sewing machine or get back to creating. Now, here are a few of the rules. So don't check your analytics at this point. Checking your numbers is more of a weekly or monthly job, not a daily one. So if you're doing this every week, then that may be a time to go in there just to do an initial, just which post is doing pretty good. Let me kind of recreate that one. But your analytics is more for monthly or even quarterly review where you're really looking at those numbers. Daily numbers will sometimes make you a little crazy, and they don't always show you the big picture if you're really focused on just what happened the next day or that day. This is not a time for idea hunting. Okay, so no idea hunting. If you're wondering what to post about, you're doing more of the planning day work in an execution time block. So go back to that parked folder wherever you left your long form content. That is what it's there for. And then try not to scroll. So reply to people and get out. And I know it's hard because, like I said, social media is made to like pull you in. And the important one, if you miss a day, this is a rule. If you miss a day, you don't have to double up the next day. You can just skip it. Doubling up is exactly how people tend to quit. They feel like they fall behind and then they try to do all these makeup sessions, and then it's 30 minutes and it's 45 minutes. And then by Thursday, it's not going to be 15 minutes anymore. It's going to be something that you're dreading doing again. If you miss Monday, let it go. Monday is gone. Tuesday is 15 minutes. Try to keep it short and sweet and get your work done. Okay, so let's actually take a piece of content and break it down. So I'll share the link to this piece of content in the show notes below. So I want to share a blog post. When I shifted my business from pattern design and teaching workshops, I changed all my content. So all my content became more about marketing, teaching the teacher type of content. So what I did was I moved some of my tutorials and things to my mom's website, where I'm a guest writer. So I wanted to pull one of the ones that is very similar to what most of my clients are creating. So this content is a blog post. It's called Adding Borders, How to Keep Your Quilt Square and Free Fabric Panel Quilt Pattern Tutorial. So that's the blog post title. It's literally how to add borders. And at the end, I have a little video from YouTube, which has been doing pretty good, just kind of up on YouTube doing its own thing. This blog post currently has 280 views since I moved it over and 3 likes. So it's doing pretty good. And this one I had a form on it so that they could download the quilt tutorial, and it brought in a good amount of leads, which is awesome. So one thing I would do with this blog post is on Monday, I would have sat down, created my plan, because this blog post was created to get ready for a launch of one of my pre-recorded classes called Learn to Quilt. And this was specifically, I believe, Learn to Quilt Level 2. And it was to take those that have started learning how to quilt, getting that interest, using panels to start quilting and putting borders on it to make a quilt, getting them interested in getting on my list and to get registered for the class. So if that's what I'm focusing on, I'm in a launch period. This is more of a pre-launch content before I send out, hey, the class is open. So what I would do is I would take this blog post and I would share it to my newsletter and say, hey, have you ever used a panel to create a quilt? And this is how I would do it. These are the borders. This is the border idea I have. Go and read more about it and or watch the video on YouTube to see how I do it with this particular panel. And then I would be done with my email newsletter, right? So that's my core content in there. The rest of the email newsletter would be more about what my students had been doing. And I usually do like a hello. I always talked about the weather in those days. So I would talk about the weather, my personal little letter at the top. For social media, what I would do is I would probably I have a collage of photos here about quilts with borders. Some of them use the exact framework that I put into the tutorial. Some do not. So what I could do is create a carousel, and then I would probably outline the blog post. So 1, grab a fabric panel that you love, identify the colors that are in it, and then find matching fabric. And then I would put at the end, go see the tutorial with an actual free pattern in it or something along those lines. So we're just outlining what's already here. We're sending them back to it. We're reusing the images that are here. And then a last one where I talk about what transformation they'll get after they watch this. That might be a third one. So there are a lot of different ways that you can use this for social media. If you do have questions on how you can use a blog post for social media, that might be something to write to me and I can do a separate episode on, and we can really break this down. But you can use B-roll. And then just talk about the blog post, share a picture of the finished quilt project to show all kinds of ways you can use this. But I would just take that 15 minutes every day to grab that piece, drop it into social media. And then I've got my pre-launch content going. Okay, so before we go to our Hey Tori takeaway, let's go back to that part 1, step 3, where we talked about breaking it up. During that planning day, one thing that I did for my DMMC members is I created a tool, a chatbot called Break It Up. So it has my own framework in it. It has my TLC story framework in it. And what it does is help break up a long form piece of content into these social media posts. So that is one thing that they get to do is they can grab a blog post URL or a video from YouTube or the transcript from could be the YouTube or a YouTube video or a podcast transcript and help them break it up into social media posts. So it even makes it quicker than just sitting here trying to come up with my own type of posts. And it builds off a framework that I've used and I've proven that it works well with the quilting world. It makes it so much easier for them just to get this done. The Break It Up bot helps them post consistently. And notice what just happened to their week, right? Their content is done for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It can be drafted. And then once they jump in on that 15 minutes day, or if they draft it and then write it right then and there, it's done for them. Right? And it's just one of the tools that I have for my DMMC members to use every week. So I had one member share this recently where she was doing really well consistently with her sharing online. So she was doing YouTube and sharing it to Facebook and Instagram, where Instagram cross posts to Facebook. And that's a pretty good system. If you're wondering where to even start, YouTube video, and then posting to Instagram to lead them back to YouTube. Like that works really well. So she fell off the wagon a little bit. She had a lot of life stuff happening, which is why I'm not mentioning her name for this episode, because she had a lot of personal reasons for stopping this consistency. And then when she's ready to get back up, the DMMC Break It Up bot was available. So she would drop her YouTube video transcript into the Break It Up bot, and it would break up for different social media platforms. And she would just grab the Instagram ones, grab a still of her video, post the still of the video, and then post the caption that it came up with in her own words, right? We still, anytime you're using any kind of chatbot, you want to make sure it sounds like you. It's more of a framework. So she would post that. It got her right back up on the horse. So in the next couple of weeks, she was able to write her own captions again, get back into the flow. And she's seeing a consistently growing YouTube channel. Her subscribers are going up, her views are going up. And then her Instagram people are more slowly going up. She also started posting more to Pinterest. So what I encourage my members to do is when they have that one social media platform and they keep it going consistently, and then they find they have a little bit more time, that's when they can go and be on other social media platforms. And honestly, my next one is always Pinterest, because Pinterest lasts so long. So she'll take the pins from the Break It Up post, those pin captions, and then she'll put those on Pinterest. So she's been finding more time to do a little bit extra, because this is helping her stay streamlined and in schedule. Now, if you want to see this written out, there's a blog post attached to this episode. Actually, there are blog posts attached to every episode, so you can go in and see them on my website. You'll be able to walk through this planner as it's written. You'll see the whole system there, and it'll help you as a roadmap to get you started on how to plan out content for the week to make this a lot shorter. So we're aiming for like 75 minutes to like 90 minutes, like an hour and a half is probably what we're aiming for. It may take you a little bit longer at first, but as soon as you get this streamlined and you start really feeling the system, feeling the flow of the system, it's going to help streamline your online marketing for the weeks, for the months ahead. And if you have a question you want me to answer on a future episode, send it in. The form link is below in the show notes. I read every single one. And that composite we opened today, that is what happens when I don't have enough real questions. So please send me yours. I'd love to hear it, even if it's more of a brained up and you're like, this is what's happening and I don't know how to fix it. I'll create a question out of it and we'll get some coaching in for you through the podcast. So your Hey Tori takeaway is today I want you to, if you haven't listened to the past episode, go back to the promo calendar episode, listen to that and create a promo calendar, because that is going to help set you up so much better this fall. And we're in the middle of August. I was going to say the end of July, but middle of August already. We are getting ready for launching our fall stuff. So it's a great time, if you haven't done this before, to sit down, write a promo calendar. And then if you've already done that, your Hey Tori takeaway is to sit down and try this system. Do one piece of long form content and then create 3 posts from it for your main social media platform. See how it goes. All right. Until next time, keep creating, keep marketing. And remember, you do not have to figure this out alone. Talk to you soon.